Good evening, students. So today we'll be beginning with a lecture on FWFC, that is freshwater fish culture. So today is our first lecture. So we'll wait for 2 minutes for other people also to join. So by the time, children, we'll just discuss that what books you are supposed to refer for freshwater fish culture. So this is basically of 200 marks. Fisheries is of 200 marks. That is 100 marks theory and 100 marks practical. Right? And in theory, we have got paper 150 marks and paper 2 50 marks. So that total combines of 100 marks. Paper 1 is being conducted on one day and paper 2 is being conducted on the separate days. So in this pattern, you are supposed to appear for 100 marks theory paper and 100 marks practical will also be conducted. So for this 11th and 12th, you can refer to Pradnya's freshwater fish culture for standard 11th and same for standard 12th. This is a concise book and it is good for you at your level. Okay, so we'll begin. So this is the first lecture on freshwater fish culture, and the first chapter in this is Introduction to Fishery Science. So what are the contents that we are going to study? That would be introduction, fisheries activity, aquaculture, classification of fish culture, and freshwater fisheries of India. Right? So now tell me, what do you mean by fisheries? You can just write it in the chat box. What do you mean by fisheries? So fisheries, it is nothing but the study of fresh water, estuarine water, marine water and aquatic fishes. Right? You can send me the chats. I'll be able to see it. So fisheries is the study of fresh water, estuarine bodies, marine water and aquatic fishes. So in 11th and 12th, we have only freshwater fish culture. We are not going to study the marine water. We are not going to study the estuarine water. We are only going to study the fresh water. So let's begin with the introduction. So fishes are the cold-blooded aquatic vertebrates. Okay, what are the cold-blooded animals? Now we have to see what are the cold-blooded animals. Do you know? Please write in the chat box. So cold-blooded animals are the animals that cannot regulate their internal body temperature with respect to the surroundings. They are also known as the poikilotherms, right? They are also known as the poikilotherms. So fishes are cold-blooded aquatic vertebrates. And now we have discussed that it is cold-blooded. Now what is a warm-blooded? So warm-blooded animals are the one that can regulate and maintain a constant temperature of the body, right? And they can survive to any range of temperature as they can adapt to the harsh conditions. So the ones which can regulate their body temperature, right, and can maintain a constant temperature of the body, and they can survive in harsh conditions also, they are the warm-blooded animals. And the animals that cannot regulate the internal body temperature with respect to surroundings are the cold-blooded animals, also known as the poikilotherms. So what are the examples of cold-blooded animals as we are studying? So the cold-blooded animals are fishes. Apart from the fishes, they are the reptiles. Now what are the warm-blooded animals? Warm-blooded animals will be the mammals and the birds. Okay. So warm-blooded animals are also known as homotherms and the cold-blooded animals are also known as the poikilotherms. So please take a note of it. So fishes are cold-blooded aquatic vertebrates. Now what are vertebrates, children? I am sure that you must be studying in standard 11th in the chapter of classification of animal kingdom, which is there in page number 56 of your textbook of NCERT standard 11. So there's a beautiful classification. What is the difference between vertebrates and invertebrates? So in simple language, we'll be seeing that vertebrates, they have a backbone. Okay, vertebrates are the ones which have a backbone. And what are the invertebrates? Invertebrates do not have backbone. And what are the invertebrate examples? That is jellyfish, crabs, lobsters, insects. So these are the invertebrates. So vertebrata are again divided into agnatha and gnathostomata, right? So please refer to page number 56 of your NCRT. Moving on, fishes, they respire with gills. We all know this. They swim with the help of fins. So there are 21,585 existing species of the fishes, out of which 41.2% inhabit the fresh water. Okay, so children, how many types of water bodies are there? That is the fresh water, marine water, and the brackish water. So we'll be studying what is the difference between fresh water, marine water, and brackish water in the upcoming slides. So in this 21,585 existing species, 41.2% inhabit the fresh water. Remaining are in the marine water, and fishes are economically important animals. Okay, so like places in Kerala, Goa, so their main source of income are the fishes. Okay, they go for culture of fishes, they go for capture of fishes, and then they sell it in the market, and thus it is of high economical importance. Okay, so I hope this introduction part is clear to you all. Apart from this, fishes are good source of high quality proteins. Okay, so proteins such as omega 3. Okay, omega 3 fatty acids are also there. Now, what are the proteins that are present in these fishes? It contains lysine and sulfur containing amino acids, and we know that amino acids, they form proteins. So it is very rich in proteins. So that is the reason uh, it is said that if you want to have proteins, then you should have fishes. It has high polyunsaturated fatty acids. This polyunsaturated fatty acid is also known as the PUFA, especially omega 3 fatty acid, that is responsible in lowering the blood cholesterol levels. So children, we all know that PUFA, this polyunsaturated fatty acid, is very important. Okay, why? Because it lowers the blood cholesterol level. And what happens if the blood cholesterol level is high? It can lead to various cardiovascular diseases. And what are the various cardiovascular diseases? It is related to the heart, arteries, and the veins of the heart. And what happens if this cholesterol level deposits in the arteries of your heart? Then there is atherosclerosis. Okay, the atherosclerosis will develop, and which can lead to heart attack or the cardiac failures. So that is the reason it is said that you should have fishes in your diet, so as to have an omega 3 fatty acids, which are highly polyunsaturated fatty acids, and that helps in lowering your blood cholesterol levels. You should avoid having saturated fatty acids. Okay, so apart from this, non-fish aquatic animals such as prawns, shrimps, cattlefish, oyster, etc. are also important. So fisheries does not only include the fishes. Okay, we'll be studying in the upcoming slides that it does not only include the fin fisheries, it also includes the non-fin fisheries. The aquatic animals which does not have fins, it also includes that. Now, fishery activity. So as we were discussing, that is the fin fisheries and the non-fin fisheries. So fin fisheries are also known as the true fisheries. Okay, so fin fisheries are also known as the true fishes, and the other non-fin fisheries are other than the true fishes, such as prawns, crabs, lobsters, oysters, sea cucumber, frog, and seaweeds. So seaweeds are also important, and seaweeds are also included in the non-fin fisheries. So there again, we'll revise. There are two types of fishery activities. One is the fin fisheries, which is the true fishes, and the other is the non-fin fisheries, other than the true fishes, which includes prawns, crabs, lobster, oyster, sea cucumber, frog, and the seaweeds. So as you can see, the first example is of labio rohita, which is also known as rohu, right? And this is an example of true fisheries. Okay, that is the fin fisheries. Apart from this, you can see here there is a prawn and there is the seaweed. So these two are included as non-fin fisheries. Okay, non-fin fisheries. So there are two types of fisheries, that is the fin fisheries and non-fin fisheries. Now, fin and non-fin fisheries are further classified into the capture fisheries and the culture fisheries. Now, what are the capture fisheries? Capture fisheries are the one in where there is exploitation of aquatic organisms without stocking seeds. Okay? And in culture fisheries, there is a scientific method of fish cultivation with maximum care. In the culture fisheries, seeds are stocked, nursed, and reared, whereas in capture fisheries, it is practiced in all type of water bodies. And the culture fisheries are practiced only specific ponds, and ponds are constructed and it is fertilized. So capture fisheries, it what does it means? It means that there's a water body, okay, and we just go and we just capture the fishes. We don't cultivate the fish there, okay. We are just going in any pond and we are just exploiting those aquatic organisms, and we are just capturing it. We have absolutely no role in providing nourishment to the fishes and providing nutrition to the fishes, and we also have no care of how the pond or the lake is fertilized or not. However, in culture fisheries, we ourselves are cultivating that fishes, okay. So we are supposed to stock the seeds. In capture fisheries, the seeds are not stocked. However, in culture fisheries, we are supposed to stock the seeds. Now, what do you mean by stocking the seeds? I'll be telling you in upcoming slides. There's a complete discussion on seeds and seed stocking. Okay, so as of now, you need to learn this is in capture fisheries, the exploitation of aquatic organism is done without stocking the seeds, and in culture fisheries, it is a scientific method of fish cultivation with maximum care. The seeds are stocked, nursed, and reared in culture fisheries. And then capture fisheries is practiced in all any type of water bodies, okay, be it water, be it ponds, lakes, okay, we can go and capture anywhere. However, in culture fisheries, we specifically require ponds, and these ponds are constructed and it has to be well fertilized. Why it has to be well fertilized? Because we need to provide an optimum pH and optimum temperature for the fishes to survive. Even if you have got ponds at your places, okay, so you can know if there are fish pots at your places, so you know that it is important for you to maintain the optimum temperature. If the temperature goes high or if the temperature goes low, the fishes dies. So in the same way, if we want to have a maximum output from the culture fisheries, we are supposed to have an optimum pH and optimum temperature, and that is the reason specific ponds are constructed and that are also fertilized. In capture fisheries, production of fishes from natural sources is decreasing. However, in culture fisheries, culture of various organisms, that is prawns, crabs, and the aquaculture are done. Now, what is the aquaculture? So, aquaculture is scientific rearing of aquatic organisms under controlled conditions, and it is a mean to increase jobs, enhance sports, and commercial fishes. It is a reliable source of protein-rich foods for the future. So, at any point of time, if we are rearing the aquatic organisms under controlled condition, that comes under the aquaculture. Under controlled conditions, as I told, optimum temperature, optimum pH. So these are the important things. Also, there should be optimum oxygen concentration, right? If the oxygen supply is not there for the fishes, then the fishes will eventually die. So that is the reason, if there is a scientific rearing of aquatic organisms and if it is under a controlled condition, then it is referred to as an aquaculture. And of course, it is a mean to increase the jobs. If we are going to have fishes, if we are going to increase the amount of fishes in our diet, then definitely the fisherman, they'll also have an increased kind of jobs, and that would also enhance the sport and the commercial fishes. It is a reliable source of protein rich foods for the future. So we have already seen there are two types of amino acids that contribute to the protein, and hence fishes are high source of protein food. Now we had discussed here that capture fisheries, the production of fishes from the natural sources is decreasing. So why the production of fishes from the natural sources is decreasing? What is happening? So we all know that small fishes, they are eaten by the large fishes. Then the large fishes are further eaten by the larger fishes. So thus the yield obtained from this is very less. So there is no specific yield. Like, we don't know how many fishes are there in that water body, because we are just going and capturing that fish. So we don't know what is the size of the fish that we'll be able to capture. Okay, so that is the reason the yield, the output which we get from here is not fixed. Sometimes you may be capturing 100 fishes, sometimes you'll be only capturing 20 fishes, sometimes the species of the fish would also differ. So the production of fishes from the natural source is decreasing because of these various reasons, that small fishes are eaten up by large fishes, and again the large fishes are further eaten by the larger fishes. So this is what the capture fisheries is. I hope you have understood about the capture fisheries and the culture fisheries. The aquaculture also we have discussed. Now, classification of the fish culture. On the basis of fish culture, it is further classified as freshwater fish culture, brackish water fish culture, right? And marine water fish culture. As last time in last slides I have told you, okay, we are going to study these type of fish cultures. So now, what is a freshwater fish culture? That would be a main subject and that we are studying. So in this, please write that the salt content, okay, salt content of the water is less than 0.05%. So if the salt content of the water body is less than 0.05%, that comes under freshwater fish culture. If the salt content of the water body is more than 0.05%, okay, but less than 3%. If the salt content is more than 0.05%, but it is less than 3%, then this is known as a brackish water. So brackish water is basically a mixture of fresh water and the marine water. Now, what is the marine water? So in marine water, the salt concentration is more than the 3%. Okay. So the salt content in fresh water is less than 0.05%. In marine water, it is more than 3%. And brackish water is a mixture of freshwater fish culture and marine water fish culture. And thus, the range of the salt content is more than 0.5%, but less than 3%. So it is on the basis of fish culture, the classification is as follows. Now, on the basis of temperature of water, okay, on the basis of temperature water, it is warm water and the cold water. So again, warm water is 20 to 40 degrees Celsius and cold water is up to 20 degrees Celsius. So you need to remember this. Now, children, what are the fresh water bodies? So fresh water bodies are the streams, rivers, lakes and ponds. So these are the fresh water bodies. Okay. Now, what are the marine water bodies? The marine water bodies are the sea and oceans. So these are the marine water bodies. And now, what is a brackish water? So brackish water, it is a mixture of fresh water and the marine water. So it is a mixture of fresh water and marine water. Now, what is an example of fresh water and marine water mixture? That is a brackish water. It is an estuary. So estuary is a point where the river meets the sea. Okay. The point where the river meets the sea, it forms an estuary, and thus that is known as the brackish water. I hope you have understood till here. Please write in the chat box if you have understood. Now we move on to the classification of fish culture. Okay. Again, the classification, as we have seen, there are two types of classification which we have seen on the basis of fish culture, that is fresh water, brackish water, marine water, and on the basis of temperature, that is warm water and the cold water. If you have any doubts still here, you can ask me. I'll wait for 5 minutes. Okay, so on the basis of species stocked, okay, so on the basis of the species which we are putting it, okay, on the basis of the seeds that we are stocking, so there it is classified as monoculture, polyculture or the composite culture and the integrated farming. Okay. Now, what is a monoculture? Mono, the word mono itself means single. So, single species of fish is stocked. Okay. So, if I want to culture Labiorohita, that is rohu. So, this is only one species of fish. Okay. So, Labiorohita is one species of fish. If I am stocking the seeds of only rohu, then it is known as the monoculture. Now, what is a polyculture? More than one species of fish are stocked. So, now if I am if I am stocking the seeds of Labiorohita, okay, and if I am also stocking the seeds of Syrinus mrigala, okay, so there are two species of the fishes only, okay, two species of fishes only, and if it is done, that is known as the polyculture. Now, what is an integrated farming? So, integrated farming are the ones in which fishes are cultured along with the other animals. So, what would be the other animals here? We can culture the prawns, we can culture the aquatic weeds, okay, lobsters, crabs. So, in case of prawns, aquatic weeds, lobsters, crabs, along with the fishes, if we culture, that comes under integrated farming. I hope you have understood this. If single species of fishes are stocked, that is monoculture. If more than one species of only fishes are stocked, that is a polyculture. And if fishes, n number of species of fishes along with other aquatic animals are stocked, that comes under integrated farming. Please take a note of this. Now, on the basis of level of management, it is traditional, extensive, semi intensive, and intensive. So traditional is simplest and very old. In this, no species selection is done. Okay, there is no specific species that has to be selected, and the yield obtained is less. However, in extensive system, it is somewhat improved. Okay, improved than the traditional. See, in level of management, we go for a comparative study. We have the comparison between traditional, extensive, semi-intensive, and intensive. So we'll be comparing and we'll be studying about it. So in traditional, simplest and very old, there is no species selection and the yield obtained is also very less. However, in extensive, it is somewhat improved than the traditional. The species are cultured on the natural foods. Okay, the natural foods which are available in the water body itself. Okay, the natural foods which are available in the water body itself. We are not providing any artificial food from outside. That comes under the extensive level of management. In semi-intensive level of management, it is somewhat more improved. The species are selected. So if I want to have a labio rohita, then definitely I'll be stocking the seeds of labio rohita only, and hence I'm selecting a specific species. And the artificial food is also given. So artificial food, we provide the nourishment to the fishes, and thus the yield obtained is more. Okay, now the intensive is highly evolved, high stocking density is there, and formulated artificial food is given. Okay, so highly evolved as compared to semi intensive, extensive, and the traditional one. So intensive, it is highly evolved, high stocking density, and formulated artificial food is also given. Now, freshwater resources of India. Freshwater fishery resources of India are highly diversified in nature. They vary from altitude, subtemperate rivers, lakes, reservoirs, and ponds to subtropical water bodies. Inland fisheries resources of India are supported by five major river systems. The length of rivers is 1.7 lakh kilometer. On these rivers, reservoirs and dams are constructed. So we'll be studying this freshwater fishery resources of India. Okay. So children, this particular table is given in the book. You can also refer to it. You don't need to learn it by heart. Okay. You just need to see what are the types of resources that are available. I'm sure you all must be aware about this, that what are the types of the freshwater resources available. The first is the rivers. Okay, so the total available area of the rivers is 29,000 kilometer. The present exploitation is 100 kg per kilometer per year. And present level of technologies, traditional cast net, gill net. I'll be telling you about these nets. So these nets are also available, through which you can capture those fishes. So the potential, you can see, it is 300 to 500 kg per kilometer per year. But what are the present exploitation? So the present exploitation is only 100 kilograms. Okay. However, the potential that it can yield is 300 to 500 kilogram. So apart from this rivers, there are canals and streams, there are reservoirs and lakes, there are ponds and tanks, there are bheels, and there are oxbow lakes. There are flood plains and derelict water, and there is a brackish water. So children, we have already discussed what is a brackish water. Now I will be telling you what is an oxbow lake. Okay. So oxbow lake is a U-shaped lake. It is somewhat a U-shaped lake formed when it is wide and it is cut off, creating a true standing body of the water. Okay, so it is a U-shaped lake basically, and hence the name is the oxbow lake. Okay, so now what is a derelict water? So children, please see to it that your chats I can read, and if you're not interested in studying, you can please leave the live stream. Okay, only the ones who are interested can join. It's not a compulsory class for you to attend, but in case you wish to attend, please see that you have a concentration here. I already told you that fisheries is of 200 marks, in which 100 would be practical and 100 would be theory that you are supposed to write. So if you are interested, then only please continue watching. If you're not interested, you can please uh, just close the tab. Okay. So derelict water are the water bodies that are generally clogged. Okay, it is clogged and wet water bodies. So now what is inland? I told you about the inland fisheries. So inland fisheries are the permanent inland water bodies, are the permanent water bodies, and this is mostly formed in the coastal zones. Okay, and it is used by the it is dominated by the permanent occurrence. Okay, so inland water bodies are the permanent water bodies. Okay, inland water bodies are permanent water bodies, and it is mostly found in the coastal zones. So inland water bodies are the permanent water bodies, and it is formed in the coastal zones. So please take a note of this. I hope you have understood. Rivers, canals, streams, reservoirs and lakes, ponds and tanks, Beals, Oxbow Lake, flood plains and derelict water, and brackish water. If you have any doubt in these things, you can just ask me. So you can see here the present exploitation. If you see any of the resources, the present exploitation is far less than the potential of that particular water body. Okay. So the only thing is that we are supposed to work on this. We are supposed to provide the nutrition to the fishes, and we are supposed to have more and more advanced technologies in order to have the complete potential of these fishes outside of the water body. Now again we'll go for the broad outline of the fishery activity. So the broad outline is in the sense of fish catching, fish processing and fish marketing. So we all know first the fishes are caught, then they are processed, and third they have to be marketed. Okay, so the place where the fish catching occurs is at the side of the producers. Okay, and the place where the fish marketing is done and it finally reach to the consumer. Okay, so the fish catching is done at the level of the producer, then there is a processing of the fish, and then fish marketing is done, and at the end of that, it is reached to the consumer. Now, fish catching. In fisheries business, the final product is the fish and the other aquatic organisms. So we have already seen the final product will either be the fish or the other aquatic organisms we have discussed. They are consumed by human beings as food. As fishes are aquatic animals, they need to be caught by catching devices such as nets. Aquaculture is the underwater agriculture. So as since then we are discussing that we are supposed to stock the seeds, we are supposed to rear the fishes, we are supposed to provide nutrition. So it is just like agriculture, it is just like agriculture, but it is an underwater agriculture. As we are supposed to take care of the normal seeds that we stock. Okay, normal seeds we stock, then we are supposed to take care, we are supposed to provide the fertilizers, we are supposed to see that we go on spraying the insecticides. Okay, so that is important, and hence the same way, if it is an underwater agriculture, that is known as the aquaculture. Team harvesting can be Term harvesting can be applied for catching of fishes. Fish seed, that is spawn. Okay, so children, since then we were saying that we are supposed to stock the seed. Now what is the seed in terms of fishes? So the seed is the spawn. Okay, the tiniest thing that we are supposed to stock of the fishes is the spawn. Okay, it is also known as the fish seed. Now what is a fry? When the fish seed it is of 7 to 10 days, okay, spawn is converted into fry, and fry is converted into fingerling. So it is like this. So after 7 to 10 days, okay, after 7 to 10 days a spawn becomes a fry. Okay, and the fingerling, when a fingerling is known as a fingerling from the fry, if the fry reaches 10 to 15 centimeter size, okay, then it is known as a fingerling. And because of our own finger is about 10 to 15 centimeter size, and hence it is given the name as fingerling. Fingerling is harvested by using a special type of net called as the fry net. So there is a special type of net that is known as the fry net. After harvesting, they are kept for conditioning in the hopper for 2 to 3 hours so that they may adjust to the small space. Okay, so hapa. Now what is you need to pronounce that word as hapa. So hapa are the fixed enclosures. Please write hapa are the fixed enclosures. Hapa are the fixed enclosures, and it is similar to the inverted mosquito nets. I hope you all have seen the mosquito nets at your home. Okay, and if you just go on inverting those mosquito nets, that forms a particular hapa. And this hapa is specifically made of polyethylene. Okay, and this polyethylene netting, and these are joined by the nylon threads. So this is known as the hapa. Hapa are the fixed enclosures, and in these type of hapas, the fishes, they are harvested. After condition, they are packed in the air-filled containers. Obviously, we are supposed to have an air-filled containers in order to provide the oxygen for the fishes so that they don't die. So they may be transported to a longer distance. Even if you see, if you go on and if you buy fish for your pond, okay, for your fish pot at home, so the thing is that when those people, they give you the fish in order to take it at home, so they provide certain holes in that particular polythene bag. Why these holes are provided? In order to provide the oxygen to the fishes, so as you can just transport them to a longer distance. Now we move on to the fish catching. So what we have done is, first, fish catching. Large size fishes are caught by different types of nets. We have already seen that there are different types of nets in which different type of fishes are caught. And some of them, we are not going to get into the details of this as of now. It is usually in standard 12th. As of now, what we are going to see is only superficially, that is the active nets and the passive nets. So active nets and the passive nets are most important. Apart from that, there are miscellaneous nets. But mostly you need to remember that there are two types of nets, active nets and the passive nets. Hooks, traps are used for catching of the carnivorous fishes. Okay, so hooks and traps are used for catching of carnivorous fishes. I'll just show you one. So see, these are kind of traps that are formed. Okay, and these are the hooks. These are the hooks which we can see, and these are the traps. Okay, so these are the hooks and traps that is used for the catching of the carnivorous fishes. Life of craft or gear is increased by proper preservation, repair and maintenance. Okay, life of a craft or gear is increased by proper preservation, repair and maintenance. Now can you tell me what is a craft or gear? Okay, craft or gear are specifically the tools or instruments. Okay, tools or instruments which are used by the fisherman. Tools and instruments which are used by fishermen. Okay, and these are used since ages. So this is not the very first time that we are using crafts or gears. So we are using the tools and instruments from ages to harvest fish. Okay, so it is since ages that we are using it, and it is life of the craft or gear is increased by the proper preservation, repair and maintenance. Okay, now I'll just show you a craft here. Okay, so these are all crafts. You can see this is also a craft, a type of craft. Okay, this is a type of craft that is used, and these are a kind of gears, that is the instruments. And if we have a proper preservation, repair and maintenance of these crafts and gears, then definitely their life will improve. Now fish processing. Fish processing, the first we have seen is, tell me what we have seen first, is the catching. Now we'll be seeing the processing. Okay, so first fish catching, then we process the fish. The third one is the fish marketing, and from the level of producer it reaches to the level of consumer. Now second process is the fish processing. It is generally fish and prawns that are sold in the market in fresh condition. So usually what they do is, fishermen, they say that the fish and the prawns are in the fresh condition and you can purchase this. But many a times we know that it smells so bad that it is not possible for us to consume those fishes and prawns. Why? Because fishes are perishable product. Perishable product means they get spoiled. Perishable means it can be spoiled. So fishes are perishable product, and because of their perishable nature, they start to spoil immediately after catching. So once we capture that fish from the water body, once it comes out from the water body, then it starts spoiling. To save fishes from such condition, preservation and processing is done. Now their fishes are transported from the production center to the consuming center by using various methods such as bicycle, motor vehicles, etc. So there are various methods from by which the production center sends the fishes to the consuming center. So before transportation, fishes are handled carefully. Mud, waste materials are removed by cleaning in the fresh water. So children, the fishes are there in the natural habitat in the water. Now once we are taking the fishes out from the water body, then definitely there would be mud, there would be waste materials, the excreta of the fishes on their body itself. So thus it is important for us to remove, so we'll remove by cleaning in the fresh water. After packing with ice, they are sent to the market. So as fishes are perishable, what we need to do is we need to preserve it with the ice. We'll also be discussing further about this ice. So they are preserved and processed by using methods such as salting, sun drying, chilling with ice, freezing and refrigeration. So we'll be seeing it in the next slide. So each method has its own advantages and disadvantages. Now first which we are studying would be the chilling. Chilling is obtained by covering fish with the layers of ice. So what we do is we keep an ice layer down, then we keep the fish, then we cover the fish with another layers of ice. N number of layers we go for in order to conserve that fish. But why we go for this? Because the fishes should not be spoiled, but it is also important to note that this can only be for a short period of time, because ice again will convert into water after some times. Okay, so this would only be for a short period of time that we are covering the fish with ice and it is being preserved. It is applicable from landing to the consuming center. Freezing is more effective than chilling. Now the next one is the freezing. Freezing is more effective than chilling. It is done by using mixture of ice and salt or refrigeration. It prevents rancidity, and deep freezing prevents denaturation and retains freshness and flavor of the fish to maximum. So the freshness and flavor of the fish remains maximum in freezing. So it's important that we go for specialized deep freezing. It requires rapid lowering of temperature up to minus 40 degrees Celsius. Okay, so minus 40 degrees Celsius temperature is the optimum temperature in which we can preserve these fishes. And what is other thing which is important? Within half an hour we need to have a rapid lowering of the temperature. Now freeze drying is the modification of deep freezing. Now we come on to the third process, that is the freeze drying. Freeze drying is the modification of deep freezing. It completely removes all the chances of the denaturation. Denaturation is basically the breakdown of the proteins. Okay, and thus we'll not be able to have that particular fish. It will smell so bad. In this, the deep frozen fish at minus 20 degrees Celsius is then dried by direct sublimation of ice to water vapor. Now what happens normally is ice is converted into water, and finally it converts into vapor. This is the normal process. Okay, that is solid, liquid and gaseous state. But what happens in sublimation? In sublimation, the ice does not convert it into water, the solid does not get converted into liquid, but it finally converts into the gaseous form. This is what is known as the sublimation. So in this, deep frozen fish at minus 20 degrees Celsius is then dried by direct sublimation of ice to water vapor without melting into the liquid water. For this process, fish is exposed to 14 degrees Celsius in vacuum frozen chamber. So there is specialized chamber that is known as the vacuum frozen chamber in which this is conserved. So so far we have seen chilling, we have seen freezing, we have seen the deep freezing, we have seen freeze drying. Apart from that, there is canning. Okay? So canning is a very effective method, but it is costly. So now children, you must be knowing that fishermen at our place, specifically in India, so what they'll be doing is they are not very rich. Like, we know that fishes are of very high economical importance, but in order to save the fishes from the producer to the consumer, there are many things. Okay, there are middlemen also, there are transportation, and the most important thing is preservation of these fishes, because no consumer is going to buy a spoiled fish or perishable fish. Okay, no consumer is going to buy foul smelling fish. So it's important for a fisherman to have that particular this thing, capital, in order to process these fishes. They should have that enough money in order to preserve and process these fishes. So this canning is highly costly. So the product remains in good condition with maximum flavor, and fish is cut into boneless pieces. What happens in canning? The fishes are cut into boneless pieces and then pickled to improve the taste. They are also pickled, and then the taste of the fishes, it improves. Preliminary cooking is carried out. Cooled pieces are kept in cans. Cans are finally sealed in the canneries. So canneries are the places, okay? Places where the fishes are being canned. Generally, uneconomical small sized fishes are preserved by sun drying. So we have seen sun drying is very cheap. Okay, there is sun, you keep the fishes below the sun in the open environment on the mat, and then the, automatically it will be preserved. And this is usually done for the small sized fishes which are uneconomical, because if you are going to sell that fish for 50 rupees, and if you are going, are you going to apply, are you going to invest 60 rupees on just to preserve that fish? That's not possible. Okay, so that is the reason for the uneconomical fish, or for the fishes which are less economical, we usually use the cheap methods, that is the sun drying. Fishes after catching are washed by rinsing in the brine water and then spread on the mat and left to dry until complete water evaporates. Okay, so here what we do is, after catching the fish, we usually go for rinsing of the fish in the water. Okay, now what we go for is the brine water, children. Please see a specific brine water. Now what is brine water? So brine water is the water which has high concentration of salt. So I'll write it properly. Water which has high concentration of salt, that is NaCl. Okay, so that is the reason this brine water helps in preventing the spoiling of fish. So thus it is washed through by a specific water, that is the brine water. So children, today it was supposed to be taken till here. I hope you have understood. If you have got any doubt, you can ask me. We'll be concluding our class till here, and in the next class we'll be studying fish marketing. Okay, we'll be studying fish marketing and the other aspect of fisheries. So please let me know if you have got any doubt. One more thing, the paper pattern of fisheries. Okay, there would be MCQs, there would be short answer questions, and there would be long answer questions that you are supposed to write. And those that paper pattern is also available on the YouTube channel. You can just go through it. The standard 12th paper pattern is available in the form of a video. You can go through it, and if you have got any doubts, we have got the WhatsApp group. You can just message to any of the uh, group admins and you can solve your queries. What I'll suggest you is that you should complete the fisheries here itself, because fisheries is very advantageous subject, as you all must be preparing for NEET. Okay, so fisheries is very advantageous subjects because it is related to your animal kingdom. Okay, and after this, the same subject, okay, the same syllabus would be there for standard 12th. It is related, it is interrelated. As I was showing you that crafts and gaze, that belongs to standard 12th, that chapter belongs to standard 12th, but even you are studying it in 11th standard only. So that is the reason it is highly scoring subject. So if you study now itself, you'll just need some revision in standard 12th. So if you have got any queries, any doubts, please let me know. We'll wait for 5 minutes before we close on this session. If you have understood, please write understood, ma'am. Or if you have got any doubt, you can write your doubt also. So from beginning from the next class, I'll also be giving you certain MCQs. Okay. So in the class only we'll be discussing the MCQs, and based on this, there would be the first term examination of yours. Only what I'll be teaching in the class, if you just see, based on this only there would be first term examination. Simran, in first term examination, do we have to write? Beta, we'll be sending you the paper pattern of the examination, okay? So as of now, that would come from the examination cell. Okay, so they'll be deciding your paper one, term one examination, that whether it would be in written form or it would be in the form of MCQs. So that would come from the examination cell and it will be conveyed to you through your WhatsApp group. Okay. If there's any doubt, please let me know, children. Okay. So with this, we complete today's lecture. I just request you all to please open your textbooks, okay, of Pradnya publication, or you can also follow Nikita publication, and you can just refer to that. I have just provided you with the crux of this. You don't need to get into complete textbook, okay. Whatever I have told you in this PPT is sufficient for you. Okay, children. So we'll see in the next class about fish marketing. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Good night and take very good care of yourself. Thank you.